Hello and welcome back to another Talkwar Gaming tutorial. In this video I'll be continuing my look at the Green Stuff World's textured rolling pins. Now you may remember in our previous video we looked at the Cobblestone rolling pin to create this kind of base effect. However, this time we'll be using the Runic rolling pin to create a base similar to this. Now, as well as using a different rolling pin, we'll also be using a slightly different technique than we did in the video before. So for this tutorial you will need the following. First of all, you need the Runic texture rolling pin available from Green Stuff World. You'll also need some bases as well in which to actually work with, and we'll also need some sort of putty as well. Now this, I'll be using Super Sculpey, and there'll be a reason for this and I'll be explaining why in a moment. We'll also need some super glue, and also finally some aluminium foil as well that we can use, that can be basically put in an oven for baking. Now that we have all of the ingredients required for this tutorial, let's get started. So the first thing you'll need to do is to get some Super Sculpey. You want to kind of apply it around in your hand so it's a bit more malleable, and then place it onto a clean surface such as this one. And then if you've got one of the rolling pins, the clear ones, you can actually use this to spread it out into a nice kind of flat surface. And the good thing about this kind of Super Sculpey, it's not very sticky, not like green stuff. It means you don't really need to use any water or Vaseline or anything like that to stop it from sticking. And once you've got it to roughly about the kind of the right size that you want, we can then place it onto the tin foil. Now the reason why we place it onto tin foil is because we want to put this in the oven and bake it. So we place it onto tin foil directly, so that just means it's easy to remove later on. It's not going to contaminate any baking trays or anything like that. So you can't just see, it's quite bright at the moment so I can't see it. So I'm just going to bring in the Runic rolling pin. I'm going to press down onto the surface hard and roll across like so, until I've got a nice even indentations across the whole thing. I'm just going to carefully remove this like that, and you can see that all of the actual Runic markings have been imprinted onto the actual Super Sculpey itself. So what you need to do then is, once you've done this, you need to place it in the oven for 15 minutes at 130 degrees Celsius. And once you've done that, let's put this to one side, you will end up with something that looks like this. Now this has been baked, so it's much more rigid now. And one of the things you can actually do with it now is just snap it in half, and then this can be broken up and used on the bases just like we've got here. So as you can just about make out on the surface there, I've used this kind of circular kind of motif that's on the Runic rolling pin on the Super Sculpey, and I've just kind of broke it up to look almost like a ruined temple or some sort of like shrine that's been destroyed. And then once you've painted all that up, you can actually create something like this. So what you want to do is you want to take some of your broken bits from the Super Sculpey that you've baked, and you want to get a base. So here we have a base, and I'm going to break up one of these sections here. So I'm just going to break it up into some small chunks. And if you can kind of remember the way that they ordered, they break up really nicely and create this like nice shattered effect almost. Just break this one in half, and then all you need to do is you need to just bring in some super glue and place it a small amount onto each piece, just on the underside there. Place that down. A little bit more super glue. And then once you've done all this, once all the pieces have been glued, you can then do something similar to this and place the sand around and some larger rocks as well, which when it's all painted up will look something like this. Now it's a fantastic way of creating bases for Dwarven and kind of Norse, especially for like 40k. If you want to kind of have this kind of glowing rune effect, you can do some really nice like chaos effects with these kind of style bases. Now in the previous video I looked at just using green stuff and placing it directly onto the base and then rolling it on the base. You can do the same technique with these, and equally you can do the same technique that I've discussed in this video with the cobblestone rolls as well. It really is up to you. You can create some fantastic base as well as scenery effects. So that was our second look at Green Stuff World's textured rolling pins. Now these really are great and cost effective in making your own custom bases. I mean, if you were to buy these resin bases, it'd be quite expensive, but the cost of the rolling pin and then the Super Sculpey and the bases really is kind of inconsequential when you compare it to how much resin bases are. So it's a really quick and easy way to create these bases as I demonstrated in this video, and it's also very cost effective as well. So what I'll do is I'll pop a link in the description below to where you can pick up your own rolling pins as well as the bases and the Super Sculpey below, and that'll be to Green Stuff World. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.